Hello, my name is Edip Yuksel. At this website, 19.org, if you can see it, there we had an announcement recently. It is the title of the announcement is this: Reformist Muslim solicits your cartoons, drawings, and short films on. The topic is Muhammad, a messenger of peace. And we have also some awards for the first 3 places in both categories. First place, $1,000 cartoon. The second place cartoon will get $300. The third place cartoon will get $200. And for the short film, the first place will get $5,000. Second place, $3,000. Third place, $2,000. And for short film, we will also provide some raw material documents that could be used for the script. And we can also provide a lot of help for that one if we find that the group or the person is really talented on the subject matter. Why we are doing this? First, we want to defend the freedom of expression, which is a divine right. God has given every human being equal opportunity and freedom to choose whatever they wish to, as far as ideas, opinions, or dogmas or religions, whatever you call it. Therefore, every human being have equal right. There should not be any censorship regarding the expression of those ideas, how abhorrent, appalling we may consider or the society may consider. As we know throughout the history, sometimes the worst ideas perceived by society, the ideas that perceived heretic, appalling by society, in fact, they were the best ideas. In fact, they were accurate. Like the earth not being the center of the universe, or like the theory of evolution. And anyway, therefore, freedom of expression, it is one of the greatest things, one of the most important precious things that it is for both individual and society. Without freedom of expression, an individual is a slave, as a society is a corrupt, unethical, tyrannical society. I have written many articles, made many speeches critical of the United States Incorporated, its misdeeds around the world, covert operations, bullying, invasions, wars all around the world just in last century. If you look at it, the list is bloody, list is too long. Only you must be either stupid not to see that, the warmongering, the imperialistic nature, bloody nature of the United States Incorporated, or you are the agent by them, or very terribly uneducated, misinformed, zombie turned to a zombie, a citizen turned to a zombie. Therefore, you need to look, open your eyes and look around what's going on behind, besides get out of the box, which is unfortunately American mass media is mismedia, has been auto-censoring, very sophisticated censorship. It's not kind of blatant, it's not overt, but covert, very carefully, skillfully. They sanitize, they eliminate dissenting ideas, criticism to the imperialism and also exploitative wild capitalism that corporations basically rule the United States, plutocracy. You don't see Chomsky, for example. You don't see many other progressive writers on mainstream TV media. They are basically default eliminated. Anyway, this is another issue. I've written articles like the American Janus. You will see good size, bad size. We have to see both. And I want you to look at the Peacemaker's Constitution, which I love very much, the American Constitution. I studied, I wrote about it. In fact, I wrote a book on this issue. It was published in law journals and also translated in Turkish in terms of comparing some constitutions, especially about freedom of expression. Also, I have speeches like my speech, recent speech in June 2012 in European Parliament. It's short, though the rest of it I didn't put there. There is another 3-minute extra, but I want you to watch that. You will see where I'm coming from. Or my challenge in Ground Zero, Americans, with my bare voice I am challenging Americans regarding their misinformation or disinformation they have, and it is also in the last section of the documentary. We call it Running Like Zebras. That aside, I'm one of the strongest, very bold, outspoken critic of American imperialism. However, as far as freedom of speech, America is one of the best countries. Therefore, I am in this country. I'm not here to make billions, millions of dollars. I'm not here for money. I'm not here for Hollywood. I'm not here for casinos in Nevada. I'm not here for corrupt political parties. I'm here because the Constitution has given rights to citizens to voice. Though I know that my voice is not heard much, but at least I am not harassed by police, by the government so far, because I speak up my mind. I'm able to criticize American government and American presidents. I know the loudspeakers are owned by corporations or proxies of the corporations. I know that those who are on TV who speak, many of them are kind of, they have double deals. They have been purchased by certain interest groups and CIA including. Now, what about freedom of expression? Well, a Coptic Christian would help some other Catholic Christian, with evangelical Christians, and with Jews. They kind of, there is a gang of people came together. They were able to manage to make up a trashiest movie, one of the trashiest, the disgusting, distasteful movie ever. I watched the trailer, my gosh, how can you watch it? It's so stupid. And there is also a Robert Spencer guy with this one. I see this guy appearing everywhere. This guy appeared in Oslo massacre. You know, this guy Knight, there is a Christian terrorist who killed more than 100 teenagers in Norway, Oslo, about 2 years ago, less than 2 years ago. And his inspiration songs were Robert Spencer. And this guy, I had the chance to expose him, which you will see in my book, this one, Warmongers Guide. Do you see it? And here you will see Peacemaker's Guide to Warmongers, not Warmongers Guide. Anyway, exposing Robert Spencer, Osama bin Laden, David Horowitz, Mullah Omar, Bill Wallner, Ali Sina, and other enemies of peace. Truly, the only difference between Mullah Omar and this guy, Robert Spencer, is the grooming, and the language is different, and the sophistication. Robert Spencer is a bloody warmonger and a big liar too. And you will see in this one we have two symposium. This guy initially is trying to kind of dance around, and basically we are discussing the Quran or Muhammad, and then he tries to take me to the hearsay garbage pile in order he can pick anything he chooses in order to incriminate Muhammad or Islam. But when I pulled him to the Quran, he was acting exactly like a Sunni, making the same arguments, or like Shiite, all the silly arguments which we have refuted very with strong theological and philosophical arguments. And then ultimately, when we took away those weapons in his hand, he ended up shooting himself in the foot. in defeat, maybe plural. Therefore, I really highly recommend you to find this book, read it. But I have also PDF. I can send you PDF. Initially, we had this in 19.org, but there was a technical problem. Unfortunately, we lost that. We need to upload some of these debates here. With Ali Sina is another incredible warmongers. He wants basically the whole 1 billion Muslims to be destroyed, decimated. The thing that I made over that argument, if Muslims in general are terrorists, then Christians are 666 times more terrorists. Because in last decade or in last century, many more human beings, civilians, children, killed, many more countries bombed and destroyed by Christians, or the nations consider themselves mostly Christians, than by Muslims. It's a fact. Go look at who bombed Philippines, killed about 2 million people. Who bombed, destroyed Vietnam, North Vietnam, killed how many hundreds of thousands of people. Many towns burned. Who first used the weapons of mass destruction? Not Muslims. Who invaded a country based on lie, killed hundreds of thousands of them just recently in Iraq? Not Muslims. Who raped and tried to genocide in middle of Europe, Serbian Christians? Many examples in Latin America. How much incredible. Just look at the deeds of the American government, which is mostly supported by people who go to church, sing peace and love your neighbor, love your enemy, and they get out for more military, more war machines. Cognitive dissonance. Go say peace, love your enemy, and then go vote for the worst warmongers. They in church, they say golden rule, love. They go the guy who says preemptive strike. Preemptive strike is iron rule. Go a little bit learn. Check. What is iron rule? Preemptive strike means a psychopath, paranoid psychopath's rule. Someone may be thinking to attack me. Let me go attack that person beforehand. It's not a matter of retaliating with niceness, give nice. In fact, thinking bad things about other person, and even they made up lies about Iraq. Well, he was a bad guy. It is better without Saddam Hussein. Well, it is better without your Bush too. Do you wish another country got to come destroy him, kill him, and meanwhile kill about 16 million Americans? Iraq lost about, according to even some Western organizations, like Doctors Without Borders, according to their calculation, about 1 million. At least in hundreds of thousands of people lost their lives. Many people were basically exiled. Hundreds of thousands of people injured, millions of orphans. You destroyed the country. Very recently, just this year, Baghdad was listed the worst cities in the world. There is no security. We freed them from what? From your SOB. Saddam Hussein was your SOB. Rumsfeld was shaking hand with Saddam Hussein when he was committing all this horrendous crime, which was listed as a reason for his demise. You were giving him all these weapons, chemical weapons used against Iran, attack Iran because you wanted your dog over there, Saddam Hussein, to punish Iran, which was caused by you, the Iranian Revolution, because initially in 1954 they had elected Mossadegh. Shah had to escape. Shah, the monarch, the oppressor, your stooge, the guy who sold his resources, country's resources to you. And he had to escape, and they had Mossadegh, a great democratic, without blood. They had this change. Well, through CIA, you did the covert operation, you brought that this tyrant. And then they ended up, unfortunately, fooled by mullahs. But you caused that. And then you say, well, they don't like me. Why should they like you? You have been supporting tyrants, thieves, murderers. Saddam Hussein was one of them. Mubarak was one of them. Saudi king still is one of them. Bahrain, Oman, they're all supported by you. And you support right now a fascist regime called Israel. I have no problem with Jews. I have comrades, colleagues from Jews. We are working together. It's nothing. It's not. Don't fall into the propaganda. And I'm not against having an Israel as a country as long as peace. But Israel, since the beginning, used terrorism. Einstein was the one who escaped from Germany. What did Einstein did? Initially supported Zionism. I would support too. These many people, millions of people were killed, incredible torture by Nazis. And you find place, of course the best place would be to carve part of Germany and give it to them. They didn't do that somehow. They didn't want in the middle of them that time. Don't look at kind of United Kingdom or other countries as if they were helping Jews. They really did not want to help Jews. They want to get rid of them, to send it to somewhere else. And there's a problem. They thought, they sit down, now we have a bunch of Jews. Instead of keeping them here, helping them in the middle of us, we don't like to have them. But let's not tell them that we want to find you a better place. Let's take you to a historic place. Well, they started Irgun Haganah terrorist organization when Einstein initially was pro-Zionist, and later when he learned that these people, the so-called Jewish people groups, going killing poor Palestinian farmers and children and families, and in destroying their homes in order to grab more land, he says, I have nothing to do with this. He denounced in a letter. And many like this. Chomsky is one of them. He's a Jew. Or Finkelstein, both of them I communicate. He's a Jew. In fact, he's a Holocaust survivor. His parents lost their lives. I don't know both parents, but he's one of the ones who directly suffered from the consequence of Holocaust. But he speaks the truth. He considers, he knows that Israel is a fascist apartheid regime. Unfortunately, became incarnation of their predators. Unbelievable. The children of the victims, they start becoming they becoming oppressor and aggressor themselves. Unfortunately, this time Palestinians. And the story is entirely distorted, topsy-turvy in Western world. I watched TV, Israel, poor Israel victim, these Palestinians, terrorist monsters. They destroy Israel, poor Israel, we need to defend Israel. One of the biggest lies. How can you be so stupid? Israel is the world's, if not top 3, it is top 5 biggest military power. It's supported by the United States unconditionally. Politically, financially, militarily. It is another United States base in the Middle East. Second, it has even nuclear weapons. And third, it is the one that has been aggressing all around. Invading Lebanon, destroying many of their cities, killing many people. Aggressing against Egypt stuff. 1967. And you may have swallowed the lie too, that it was poor Israel defending itself. No. Go read those days, the news of the days. It was preemptive strike. Means paranoid psychopath action. It was Israel attacked them first, not them. Now Israel want to do the same thing. Israel attacked even Iraq. Iraq didn't do anything to Israel before that. No. They are saying some words. Goodness sake, Israel, you are not only saying the words. You don't need to say the words. You go kill people without saying any word. You say, I love you, you kill the person, but not one person, many people. You say, you are nice, kill. Nice, kill. How many Palestinian children you killed? Just put out the numbers. Go look at the site says, if Americans knew, .com.org, something like that. Write it down, if Americans knew. You will see the number, pure numbers, graphics. So simple. Israel started as a small, gradually expanding. Peace process is a big lie. It's deception, basically. Keeping Palestinians under the surveillance, harassment of Gestapo in concentration camps, and meanwhile destroying their homes and creating more land for settlements. That's all. Israel deliberately doesn't have a border, neither accept these people as citizens, giving them equal rights, nor let them alone, be themselves, no. But has always an excuse, because when you kill so many people, destroy the society, the fabric of the society, when you harass them daily, when you assassinate as many times as you want, when you kidnap, take, call arrest, and fill your prisons with these indigenous people, Palestinians, as a terrorist, and torture them in your prison. Israel, until recently, legally sanctified, justified torture. And what do you expect? There will be, of course, some people have nothing to lose, frustrated, accept themselves, they go blow themselves up. But still you kill many more. You call it suicide bomber, terrorist, bad, but the guy who fly the jets, the most sophisticated, bloody murder weapon, and then push a button with a smile on face, destroys a whole neighborhood, kill many children, wound many of them, people suffering, crying there, and comes back as a hero. He doesn't look like a terrorist. He looks a kind of well-groomed, with beautiful clothes on, and also survived. He didn't kill himself. Survive for what? To kill another time for another sortie. That's it. Americans, my friend, look at this picture. You see the picture of a 12 or 13 years old Palestinian kid. Kid is a child. Think about your own child. His home's most likely destroyed or his uncle killed, because the number of Palestinians killed by Israel was much, much more. Before Intifada is were about one Palestinians, for one Israeli killed, there were 23 Palestinians killed. And who is the invader? Israel. Who has the power? Israel. And these people defending their freedom. Oh, you say freedom. We are giving people freedom. Big liar you are. You don't care about the freedom of those people. Do you care about the freedom of Palestinians? No, they're terrorists. Now this kid, 12 years old, 13 years old, have a rock in his hand, standing against 50-ton killing machine called tank, given by our tax dollars to Israel, thanks to the United States Incorporated. And there is a soldier over there with most sophisticated gadgets, communicating with up and down. And these kids with rock in his hands, standing against tank. And this picture you see, and you in your mind, you are so brainwashed, so turned to a zombie. You see this kid is a terrorist. This guy, this soldier in the tank is a victim. The same in Turkey, the Turkish military kills many Kurdish people, and when the Kurdish children, families, they coming in, they have rocks in their hand, they throw, or they maybe kill sometimes certain soldiers. My gosh, they are terrorists. But government has free ride on killing people. This is called nationalism, virus of nations. Religion and nationalism, they are hand to hand. They go into your brain, they intoxicate you, they create cognitive dissonance syndrome in you, and you start justifying all horrendous acts in the name of nationalism or national interest. You are a monster. If you are worshipping any flag, you are a monster, you are a big liar. If you are supporting militaries, you are a big liar, you are not a peaceful person, you are not a Christian, you are not a Muslim. Muslim is peacemaker. Unfortunately, Muslims, not much different than Christians, but right now Christians are upper hand. They kill more, but they act also more peaceful because they have the means, propaganda means, to make bigger lies. Now, therefore, we have incredible hypocrisy around the world. The country who care less about freedom of other countries, which dictates the terms of the corporations and governments. If governments do not listen, topple the governments through covert operation, through CIA. And then if they still continue, they still stand, they go bomb the country, they declare them to be tyrannical, to be axis of evil, and these all kind of things, or communists in the past. Now it is against Iran. Well, is Iran a great country? Absolutely. Is the government bad government? Is one of the worst governments. Tyrannical, unfortunately. But if United States or Israel attack Iran, who will suffer the most? Unfortunately, millions of Iranians will suffer. And okay, partially the problem in Middle East is induced by United Kingdom and United States, the imperialist powers. They do not leave the area alone. What are you doing, America and United Kingdom, in these countries? Why? Well, because they attacked us in 9/11. History did not start with 9/11. What happened before 9/11? Americans? Amnesia? Please. You have Professor Google, go ask what happened before 9/11. Ben Laden was a reaction to our deeds over there. Do I have sympathy with Ben Laden? Nothing at all. This guy and his, in fact, supporters, they killed my closest friend, Rashad Khalifa, Dr. Rashad Khalifa in Tucson, Arizona. In fact, he is considered al-Qaida's first domestic terrorism in the United States in 1990, January. In fact, the person who was involved in the killing of Rashad Khalifa, he was involved in hijacking. He was the cover story of Time, and this story was inside. I have all the references in my book. Go 19. This book here. Okay, let me see. This one. In the end of this book, you will see paper clips in Arabic, in Turkish, in English, and over there you will see the things. But majority of people do not know because mainstream media did not want this to be known much. Only few things, and in local media it was much more on headlines. But this fact that the al-Qaida's first domestic, which is revealing why they picked this guy, Dr. Khalifa, because you don't know. And after that, when Americans asked, which I see on TV after 9/11, why this guy attack us? I remember Dan Rather on Letterman's show. Letterman doesn't know whether to laugh or cry. It is a kind of a zone that between the major disaster, unfortunately 3,000 people lost their lives, and this guy's career is to make people laugh. It was in purgatory time, and then David Letterman asked him, what do you think, Dan Rather, why they attack us? This guy, you expect him to give some good truth, tell a little bit dose of truth to Americans. I expected him to say. He could easily say, well, we have killed many of these people. We have been supporting many tyrannical regimes out there. And this is byproduct of that. This is just flashback code. We support also Israel. They kill many Arabs. They get away with any violations of United Nations resolution. We support Mubarak. We support the Saudi king. These are not only thieves, corrupt, they are also very brutal. Of course, they will create angry people, not necessarily nice people. And those some angry people, they can connect the dots. They see, well, our misery is, political economic misery is because of this United States. That was the reason. It's obvious, this guy mentioned, you have bases. We give billions of dollars worth of weapons to Saudi Arabia. For what? Saudi Arabia is the ally for that? No. We want to also plant the seeds of fights and wars in those countries in order to sell them. Even the invasion of Kuwait was absolutely 100% was staged by the United States Inc. in order to feed military industrial complex and other related vultures, corporations, multinational corporations that exploit the resources of other countries. Can easily get many contracts over there and can transfer American tax money to those companies. Like the construction company, major construction company that Dick Cheney was on the board. Now, what we do, well, they can see, they can connect the dots and they get angry with us, and this was first time there. But before that, we killed many of them directly or indirectly. We stole their resources. We tortured them through our stooges there. And when Kuwait invasion, I say it was 100% through United States government's acquiescence. It It was absolutely, this guy, Saddam Hussein, was our stooge. When I say I, not mine, the American ink, which is really not democracy, it is plutocracy, used duopoly as a fooling system, as a kind of deceptive system. And when he was done, we used, America used it against Iran, punish Iran. And then while he gassed the Kurdish people, 5,000 of them, we didn't see even any protest from the United States at that time, because he was our SOB doing our dirty job there. And then when he was done, okay, we wanted to discard him. It's time to change. Too long, we used him. Now he's getting a little bit arrogant. Give him a signal, go as a price, get Kuwait. Why I'm saying we gave it, I'm not conspiracy theory makers. This is based on facts, news. Because it was picked up by the news that, in fact, satellites, that Saddam, I'm talking about 1990s, the first Bush, Saddam was moving towards Kuwait, mobilizing his army there towards Kuwait, and they asked the American ambassador in their area, it was Kuwait, I believe, what is Americans' reaction? Ambassador doesn't talk on his own. It's not kind of a chat. He's talking in the name of the United States. Of course, he's briefed. He knows what is the policy. Well, he says it is not our business. If he's invaded, it is his business. It's not our business. And it fits the behind the door. Of course, obviously, we had given him, Saddam Hussein, this green light. You can go. And even Saddam Hussein hears publicly, American ambassador says it's not our business. Boom. Yes, that's really right. I'm not tricked. And then goes invades Kuwait. Boom. United States changes and says, you get out of Kuwait. We are going to punish you. We are going to save Arabs, Kuwait, from this monster. This was your guy until yesterday. And suddenly turned to a monster. Now you are saving poor Arabs. Boom. Saudi Arabia purchased billions of dollars of weapons. And 3 billion, I remember, the first purchase. And they couldn't even use, they didn't have enough smart soldiers, trained soldiers, to use those so-called weapons. They're all electronic. And then they had to hire American soldiers to come attend, maintain those, and give them outrageous amount of salary to keep them there. That money comes from whom? From poor Saudi people. It was their resources allocated to American military weapon industry, American soldiers, and American whatever others, too many contractors. And then the other countries all got. And then meanwhile, Israel attacks, Saddam attacks, and then in Israel we have an open show, global show of smart missiles. Advertisement for them, how it is shielding against Saddam, protecting Israel. You remember those days? Absolutely. It was a show, advertisement, commercial, great sales opportunity for military weapon industry. And Saddam was a paper tiger, kicked out easily, and now United States is the savior of Arabs from a rogue and bad guy. And then they kept him there. They wanted to use another time. Bush did not go further. Their plans, step by step. That was enough. That was the time to sell a lot of weapons, but still keep this monster there to be used for another time. Okay, that's it. Now, please, I highly recommend you Noam Chomsky's books on this subject. He is the very great intellectual. He's a linguist, but also political scientist. Anyway, now come back to the day. I want a second, well, why I'm talking about this, because I'm saying there is a lot of radicalism in the so-called Muslim world. This corrupt Islam was there. You didn't have terrorists before. Why they are attacking the United States? Why they are so angry? Of course there are other reasons. It cannot be religion. Yes, in their religion doctrines there are a lot of violence, but for centuries they didn't do that. From 1900 until 2000, before 2000, or let's say 1800, 1900, no. Look at the history of bloody Christianity. It's much, much more bloody. And still, 99% of Muslims, maybe even more, because the number is about 1.3 billion. If the whole people who are involved in so-called gang terrorism versus state terrorism, which is states are the biggest terrorists around the world, United States, Israel, Turkey, or United Kingdom, number one terrorist. Look at the prince. In order to show that he's prince, he has to go kill some Afghanis and get some trophies. That's it. Trophies or trophies? Trophies. That's it. You see, this behind facade of this civilization, there is incredible bloody face, monster. Who are the biggest weapon manufacturers around the world? Look, who is selling weapons all around the world? Who is making the biggest wars, destroying countries? Just a decade or 2 decades ago, not really 2 decades, less than 2 decades ago, there were United Nations come together, many nations, almost everyone signed, banning mines that kill civilians, shepherds, farmers, poor people, injures them, many, thousands of people every year. Princess Diana was in that cause. Guess who did not sign it and made it basically impossible to ban? It was the United States. This peaceful country that cares about humans? It's a big lie. But American people are different. I'm not equating American people with American government. Oh, of course, among American people, there are a lot of liars, hypocrites, savages, warmongers. Absolutely. But among the American people, which I believe majority, many wonderful people. But the problem with these wonderful, peaceful, good people is they choose to become ignorant. They choose to become fooled and manipulated by this media. And they are also not active in political discourse. What are we doing? These elections, basically elections of the rich. The rich is picking this guy and that guy, supporting this guy and that guy. They are betting on both horses. They are identical twins. The difference is cosmetic. What Obama changed? Obama came, gave billions of dollars to corporations, banking. Not a single Wall Street guy was indicted, put in behind a prison, who did all kind of frauds, stole so much money, destroyed many lives. But a person steals a pizza is up in prison. Obama did not indict Bush, which is a war criminal, or Dick Cheney. They justified torture. They violated many articles of the Constitution, privacy rights, many things. And they made up lies. And when they took this country to a war against a small country, sent the children of the poor Americans to kill the children of poor people in Iraq, war criminals. Did Obama indict them? No, because he is in the same club. He gave lip service to certain sentiments in the United States to do what? Oh, Gitmo, we close it. Still closing it. Big lie. Even closes it is already, should be closed. It finished its time. It is another trick. We need to another bloody stage, therefore we'll do it perhaps. But you see, there is no really radical fundamental change. The same system is continuing. Ralph Nader very well described this. Is a duopoly. It's a system that plays on 48, 52, 49, 51 kind of percentages, maybe 1%, 2%, maybe sometimes independent. But you have only these two parties. Well, within 4 years, 8 years, you get this illusion with these ones. That's enough. But meanwhile, there are new ones coming. They have no idea about the past. That's enough to change. That's enough to change. And meanwhile, there are some people mentally challenged, or they are ignorant people. They can easily be swayed here and there. Boom. The system continues on. Who are they behind? The 1%ers? In fact, much less. A lot of them are in Europe. They are bloody, greedy, terrible people. if you could see their spirits, you would be scared of them. But they have smiles on their face, they have good nutrition, they have ties. When they talk about civilizations and about barbarian savages. But they are real barbarian and savages. They care less about people. Obama doesn't talk about even lower class people in prison. United States has the biggest prison population in the world, both per capita and also just pure numbers. This is the land of freedom? What a big lie. There are about 40 million, more than 40 million people in America in poverty. We don't even talk about them. They're not middle class. We care less. They became invisible. And they don't have power to cry, to make things. And they are also zombified in front of TV. Even TV shows make them go both against their interests, against their basically predators. I cannot understand a person with income less than $100,000 go vote for Romney, even $200,000 go, but I have seen many, because they know which button to push. Nationalism, religion. These are two hot buttons. They have trained since childhood from elementary school. Religion, God, government allows this, in fact promotes this. Church, government, hand to hand in terms of selling opium to people. This is one distorted religion, polytheistic religion that turns people to zombies, unfortunately, because they dogma, they don't question. They leave their brain before they enter the church or enter the mosque. They don't think. When they talk about God, they become stupid, they become children. It's unbelievable. And nationalism, the same. Another turns people to juveniles. We see flag, crying flag, a piece of rock, but it is so, since childhood, in front of the flag, we give our life to flag. It is new idol. Therefore, I like Jehovah's Witnesses. Stand against flags and wars. They have been standing for peace. And also, I like Unitarian Universalists. But unfortunately, there are minority Christians, but there are also progressive Christians among some Protestants, but the worst, which has nothing to do with Jesus, they are the evangelical, wrong-wing evangelical Christians, which they, unfortunately, they are both for the rich, which is Jesus. In the Bible, throughout the Bible, there are several verses very strongly criticizing the rich. Jesus for the poor was for the underdog, and the same with Muhammad, and the same also with the peace. Jesus was one of the most peaceful person, but today's Christians, my gosh, go listen to them, Robert Spencer or many other Christian clergymen, full of hate and distortion of the facts, depiction of the world, Muslim world. They are the bad people. Yes, there are bad people, and there are worse people among you. Well, I should not say there are worse people there too, not much different. But as far as in terms of killing game, violence game, of course you are much more violent. You are weapons merchant, biggest military. You have invaded so many countries. Oh, you brought them freedom, huh? That's all invaders, all murderers. Almost all of them make up these stories to fool people to go die for the king. Anyway, this section I really did not mean to be that long, but the next section I would like to talk about why Muslims are hypocrites by protesting this movie, which is a trash. This movie, so-called Innocence of Muslims, by a gang of warmongers who would like to provoke, and these are all, of course, they fall into the game. Next section, I would like to continue that one. Thank you.